What is up, Twitch and YouTube fam? Thanks for joining me here on my channel, Chess with Steve, or Chess TV. If you know me from YouTube more than Twitch, that's fine. I am dual streaming on both platforms, so hopefully I'll reach a few more people than I normally would. Let's see. Anyways, let's get into it. Make sure that my window looks good. Yes. And yes. Okay. Now, over the last couple of weeks, we had looked at the Pirtz or Perk defense Austrian attack from the black side, from the defensive side, and we looked at 10 games. Now we're looking at the same opening, but we're going to look at it from the white side. Now this features Ray Robson, somewhat of a young legend in his own right, who's been as high as I think 2706 or something on the ELO scale. He's since unfortunately given a lot of those points back, or some of them back. At the time of this game, about a year ago, he was rated down to 2667, still very powerful. And in this game, he fights, or whatever, he plays Ivan Saric, a very powerful Grandmaster, 2703 ELO. This was played at the Pro League group stage, Chess.com International. I think about 6 or 7 months ago. It was played in December. Oh, excuse me. It was played in December of 2019. Yeah, so... Yeah, so about 6 months. That's correct, yeah. About 6 months ago. So let's get into it. Check my YouTube. Okay. I don't think I have any messages. If I do, I'll try to respond to them. Bear with me because I don't always see all the material at the same time. Okay, anywho, let's get into it. E4, G6, D4, D6, Knight C3, Bishop G7, F4. Again, Ray has the white pieces and Ivan has the black pieces. Knight F6. Now, Bishop D3 is the Weiss variation, or Weiss variation. Castle, Knight F3. Knight C6. I will also say that, and I said this last week, Knight A6 is very, very good and common way to deal with Bishop D3. It's just a great way to develop, but there's a lot of ways to go. So he does a more traditional Knight into C6. And Ray plays E5. Takes with the F pawn. Knight H5. Knight E2. F6. He takes F6. He takes and short castles, or castles. King H8. Oops. C3. Queen D6. Knight D2. Now, guys, what would you play here for black on the next move? What would you think is a good move? Any questions? Any comments? Any suggestions? There's a little delay going to YouTube, so I will give, I'll give several seconds and see if my YouTube community wants to chime in. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, unfortunately. If I'm... Hold on, view on the watch page. Let me try this. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Let's see. Okay. Anyways, that's fine. I'm not getting any comments or questions, but maybe later. Well, the point is, guys, if so, after this move, Black plays something of a positional blunder. Now, what what might he ought to play? Um, I might even consider. No, no, can't do that. Well, that's way. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's G6. Ultra loose. Can't do that. Let's see. It's a little tricky for Black to unwind sometimes from these positions, and yeah, B6 is probably the best move in the position. Or, for example, Knight E5. The idea with 95 obviously is that if D takes, then White is losing a bishop, and it's significantly, at least slightly worse, to be quite honest. Maybe significantly worse. What else? I'm wondering about this move. No, 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 that's really bad. It leads to Knight C4. Tempo move. And let's say if the queen goes anywhere, let's say right there. Bishop takes H6. Yeah, and Black's getting crushed, so that's not at all going to do it. And at any rate, yeah, he plays Bishop G4. Now this is a pretty severe positional concession to White. It probably doesn't look like it on the surface to Ivan, because on the surface it looks like you're just pinning the knight. It makes a lot of sense. You can always jettison the bishop by trading on knight takes bishop takes knight e2, and it looks like you've got a playable position. So he plays, unfortunately, knight e4 is Ray's response, and easily it's a very natural move. It just almost plays itself. Queen went to e7. I should point out that queen going to e7 is also a subtle positional mistake. Queen should have gone to d5. And if this, then queen d7. And now if you play something like this to shore up this d4 square, then perhaps rook a e8. Getting on this, getting pressure on the e-file. This will come down, probably bishop take e4 or knight take e4. And all this is going to get traded for the most part. Queen will end up on d4. Knight may come, it's a nightmare. This bishop's going to come out probably to either h5. Yeah, I don't want to go too far into that line, but it's mega, mega bad for White. Okay, again, Ivan played queen into e7. Knight f2, played by Ray Robson. Let me get my notation board and check my YouTube feed. Oops, wrong page. There, is that the right one? Yes. Okay, good deal. Now, so after this move, obviously bishop has to decide what to do. f5, okay, it's a move. Knight takes, pawn takes, and now knight goes to f4. Now this move also, guys, is a positional mistake. And again, it may not look on the surface of it, why is it a mistake? It looks like you're gaining access to white's king. You're weakening the H file. You're sort of weakening the G files in a weird way, and looks like it looks like black is pressing. Black's getting active. Unfortunately, after knight take, pawn take H2. Now there's a debate. Do you go king takes H2, or do you merely move over to H1? If you take H2, you have an instant draw. All advantage is gone for white. All advantage is gone. Ray wisely scooted the king over to H1, maintaining over 2 points advantage on the ratings of the engine. And now Ivan trades. And here we have a question. Do we want to take with the bishop, or do we want to take with the queen? If we take with the bishop, it's perfectly fine. There's no problem at all. However, taking with the queen is a little bit better. It's a tiny, tiny bit better. It's a little more accurate. Ivan snapped off that knight. And Ray plays... my notation board up. Oops. Oh, whoa. Wait. Okay. Queen F5. Very accurate. Obviously looking to give mate in 1. If black goes to sleep in the position and say place anything else,
mate,
you're getting mated. Now, luckily, Ivan is a 2700 Grandmaster, and Ivan is not on his worst day going to do that. I doubt, unless it's a bullet game. And even then, probably not. Queen gives a check, so this, I admit, this looks scary for white, and it also may look like you're getting into a perpet. That's short for perpetual checking mechanism, which leads to an automatic draw after 3 repeats. King takes H2. Queen check on H4. King back to G1. Queen back to E1 check. King back to H2. Queen back to H4 check. And now Ray had to decide, am I good enough to continue, or do I want to draw? And he says, heck no, I'm not going to draw you. Queen H3. Takes with the king, very accurate. This is not bad, but it's not as good as taking with the king. So you want to keep this king mobile so that it can go up the board unimpeded, unimpinged, and start snacking on pawns. So that's the logic there. Rook comes over to the F file. Now, a word about this bishop e3. It's not at all bad. It's an excellent move. But bishop g5 was significantly more accurate, leading to something like this. And then where do you go? Boom. You park it on h4 and have a beautiful, rock-solid position. At some point, rooks will come off, most likely. Dark squared bishops may come off, most likely, air quotes. And it will be a light squared bishop against a light squared knight. In all things being equal, what is most cogent in this position is the fact that black king is as far away as humanly possible from a7. His 2 pawns are currently impeded and will be for quite some time, and they are doubled on h5 and h6. And then even more importantly, or just in a weird way, I would say more importantly, but not a lot more importantly, it's in tandem with these other aspects. It is a 4 on 3 pawn advantage in the center, which almost always leads to a win if conditions are just so. And I believe here they would definitely be just so. Okay, enough of all of that. So, it was not what was played, unfortunately. He played, not unfortunately, but I mean, he could have played a little more precisely, but still excellent move. Bishop e3. Ivan starts bringing the knight back into e7. Rook f1. Trades, takes with the bishop. Bishop f6. Bishop e2. h4. Bishop f3. Getting on the b7 pawn. c6. Saying no, 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 no. Bishop e4. King comes in. Bishop f2. Now, it should be crystal freaking clear what white is aiming for in this exact position over the next 2 to 3 moves. White will attempt to bring his king somewhere in this vicinity. Should be doable. We know it's doable. We can count squares, count tempo. And he will most likely trade these bishops off and then begin pushing the pawn, maneuvering the bishop, da-da-da-da-da. Let's see what happens. Knight comes over to g6, snaps it off, king takes. Now this is beautiful. Instead of trying something slow like this, which is still winning, this is viciously still winning, like a little bit quicker, a little bit more emphatic. Goes back. King hops into g4. Oops, whoa. Bishop h6. King f3. Bishop c1, b3. Bishop b2. Ray drops the bishop all the way back to e1, obviously guarding the c3 square. Black king desperately, by Ivan Sarich, comes to f5. g4 check. Backs up to g5. Bishop d2 check. King h4, horrible square. Black is getting crushed now. Advantage is near 4 points. It may even go past 4 the more it crunches down. It just went past 4. Yeah, it's basically semi-ballistic. King f4, a5, a4, king h3. Whatever that is supposed to do, I have no idea. g5, king g2, king e4, king f2, c4, king e2, and bishop, of course, grabs on a5. And guess what? Ivan Sarich resigned in this position. No, but seriously, yeah, what a beautiful grip that Ray was able to establish in this game. And then in the late phase, or early phase of the very end portion of the game, the end game, he began to exert more and more fairly high level of pressure, and then just beautifully converted. Yes, Ivan played a couple of bad moves, but they weren't howlers for the most part, but they were technically very, very weakening moves in his position. So let's go back through this. Okay, I don't know where everybody is. Normally I have quite a crowd on my Twitch channel. Okay, I do have a few silent watchers, but let me type something real quick on my YouTube feed. Okay. Okay, did that go through? Okay, anywho, let me get back to the Back to the game. Okay. Let's run back through it. Now already we see that black is about to equalize. That's true, but I like the way that in the Pirates or Perk Defense, Austrian attack, white gets the type of structure that lends itself to winning. Like with white, you can easily draw. Easily. In a way. I mean, in a way. But I mean, what I mean that is statistically, the chances are, if you get a certain structure with white here in this type of opening, it just gives you so much ease of play to a certain extent. But having said that, black certainly has ideas. So this is all very accurate, very well-known theory. Now this move here, Stocky does not agree with and does not like it. Instead, I think probably just castles, maybe. No, that's a mistake. Excuse me. What about? No, that's weakening. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, that's a fine move. Bishop b3. Or this is really slow. I'm wondering how it's going to feel about that. No, that's horrible. Yeah, Bishop b3 has to be the only go-to move here. So instead, he brings the knight around, knight e2. Now, I'm not going to lie, this move here I really don't like for black, and Stocky does not like this move at all. Instead, let's see, what can we decide was good? Okay, even this is better than I think than what he played in the game. Yeah, Bishop e6 is by far the best move. Yeah, by far. This is why he didn't go for Bishop e6 is bizarre. This queen move, don't know what that's supposed to do really. And then and in turn though, this knight, Ray bringing the knight back to d2, this technically unnecessary. He had this move, knight h4, and if this, then you get knight f5. You kind of have to grab this knight. Bishop takes, and white pretty much has a fantasy stranglehold over black's position. And you know, how do you ever eject the bishop comfortably? I have no idea. That would be really, really bad. So backing up after this move, again, not the best move in the position, but it does have ideas of kicking the queen around with knight c4 and maybe knight e4, etc., etc. Indeed, we see knight e4, tempo on the queen. Oops, wait, sorry. And really white is beginning to, in fact, this move here is a positional, it's almost a positional blunder, really, to be quite honest. Very precise play. Again, this is going for cheapos. If knight e5, mate in 1. Not going to happen. It's Ivan Saric. We get into a very near perpetual. And honestly, the rest is just technique. There's really nothing extraordinary about this phase at all. Just it's utterly losing for black. It's just all about technique and not missing a beat. And he converts absolutely beautifully. And he resigned on move 47. Check it out. Look at the Pirates. Look at the Perk Defense. The Pirates from both sides, white and black. And pick out some of your favorite players. And even some that you don't know about. Check it out. Practice it. Play it. essay it, played in a lot of online games and over the board, and you will get better, I promise. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks so much for joining, both my Twitch fam, my YouTube family. We'll see you down the road. Stay positive and keep playing chess. Bye for now.